Inyo, inyo, kaze kaminime. Inyo, inyo, kaze kamini omine. And as she sang, something mysterious happened. Amara, let down your hair. The voice floated up the stone walls like a curious bird, soft but certain. It did not carry the sharpness Amara had grown used to. Amara froze. The tower room was small but neat, washed in golden afternoon light that slipped through the narrow window. Dust danced in the air like tiny spirits. Her long hair pulled around her feet in thick dark waves, almost alive, almost listening. She moved slowly to the window, years before the tower, before the silence, before loneliness wrapped around her like a second skin. Amara had lived in a bright compound, where laughter rested comfortably in the corners. Every evening, her mother would sit under the mango tree, with a carved wooden stool between her knees. Amara would sit on a raffle mat, her back straight, her eyes closed, while her mother combed her long hair gently. Hair is a crown, her mother would whisper, her fingers warm and patient, and every crown must be carried with kindness. Her father would watch them with a smile that reached his eyes. Some evenings, he brought roasted corn. Other evenings, he brought stories from the market, stories that made Amara clap and gasp. Then sickness entered their home quietly. It dimmed her mother's laughter first. Then it stole her strength. Soon, the mango tree felt too big, too quiet. The carved stool remained empty. Amara's world folded in on itself. Her father tried to fill the silence. He tried with new wrappers, with sweet words, with promises that everything would be fine. But grief is a river that does not listen to promises. Months later, he returned home with a woman whose beauty turned heads at the village square, Mama Ngozi. Her skin was smooth, her smile polished like brass. Beside her stood her daughter Ngozi, a girl with bright eyes and a smooth bowed head that shone gently under the sun. At first, Amara was happy. A sister. She had always wanted someone to whisper secrets with at night. Mama Ngozi would call Amara into her room, where a large mirror stood tall and proud. She would sit behind Amara, running a comb through her thick hair with careful strokes. I want you near me, Mama Ngozi would murmur, studying their reflection so that the blessing on your head will follow me. Amara would smile, not fully understanding. She only enjoyed the attention. She would sit very still, hoping to please her new mother. Soon, Mama Ngozi gave birth to a baby girl. The whole compound celebrated, but when the child began to grow, it became clear she too had no hair. Not even a whisper of it. Something shifted after that. It began in small ways. The comb no longer moved gently. It tugged. It scraped. Mama Ngozi's smile grew thin. She would stare at Amara's reflection in the mirror. Her eyes hard like sun-baked clay. Why you? She would mutter under her breath. Amara stopped being called into the room for blessings. Instead, she was called in for chores. Wash these clothes. Scrub the floor again. Fetch water before sunset. One evening, the sky heavy with rain clouds. Mama Ngozi stood at the doorway holding a basket overflowing with dirty clothes. You will not eat tonight, she said flatly, placing it down with a thud. Not until every cloth is washed and dried. Amara's stomach tightened. She had not eaten since morning. Mama, please, she whispered, her voice trembling like a leaf. I am tired. Mama Ngozi did not look at her. When Amara's father was at home, the house changed his voice. Mama Ngozi would soften like warm butter under the sun. She would scoop the biggest piece of meat into Amara's bowl, the kind with enough flesh to make other children stare. She would smooth Amara's hair gently, her fingers light, her smile wide. My daughter must eat well, she would say sweetly. Amara would glow under the reflection, unaware that it melted away the moment her father stepped out again. The house had two faces. One wore powder and perfume, the other wore thorns. Years rolled forward like calabashes pushed by the wind. Amara and Ngozi grew into preteens, and Amara, she blossomed. Her beauty unfolded gently at first, quietly like the first light of dawn. Then suddenly the whole village seemed to notice. Her skin held the warmth of polished bronze. Her eyes were deep and thoughtful, and her hair, thick and dark, flowed like a royal banner wherever she walked. Fathers began to visit. They would sit with Amara's father under the mango tree, clearing their throats respectfully. "We have come to speak," they would begin. With kola nuts. Some came with goats. Some came with promises of land and protection. They wished to place her diary down early, to secure the future, like wise men buying land before the harvest. But her father always shook his head. "She's still a child," he would reply firmly. The refusals did not stop the visitors. Kings heard of her. Princes rode from neighboring kingdoms, clothed in silk and pride, just to catch a glimpse of the girl whose beauty had become a story carried by traders and drummers. And each new admirer was like pepper poured into Mama Ngozi's eyes. Her smile grew tighter each day. One evening, as the sun dipped low and painted the sky with fire, Mama Ngozi called her daughter aside. "There is something you must do," she said calmly. Ngozi listened carefully. "You will go to the stream of Uka tomorrow with Amara. Make sure she enters the water." Ngozi blinked. "But Mama, that stream," the stream of Uka, was known in whispers. It was beautiful, yes. The water clear as glass, surrounded by tall trees. But the elders always warned the maidens. If a young maiden swam in it, she would become cursed. No one knew the shape of the curse, only that it clung like shadow. Mama Ngozi's voice became firm. "Do as I say." The next morning, the air was cool and bright. Birds sang as if the world held no secrets. Amara balanced a clay pot on her head. As she walked beside Ngozi towards the stream, she was humming softly, her heart light, unaware of the trap woven ahead. When they arrived, the stream shimmered invitingly. After fetching water, Ngozi climbed onto a low tree branch that leaned over the stream. "The water looks beautiful today," she said, forcing a casual tone. "They say if you wash your hair inside, your skin will glow." Amara laughed softly. "You and stories." Ngozi looked at her carefully. "I also heard for 1 minute you can speak to someone you had lost." Amara's laughter faded. Her fingers tightened around her hair. "Just 1 minute," Ngozi continued gently. "Maybe you can see your mother." The forest grew very quiet. On days when Mama Ngozi's cruelty cut deeper than usual, Amara would sit alone and whisper into the wind, wishing to carry her voice to wherever her mother rested. Without thinking further, her heart moving faster than caution, Amara stepped into the stream. The water was cool, it wrapped around her ankles, then her waist. She closed her eyes. "Mother," she whispered. For a moment, the surface of the water trembled. The air thickened. It felt as if something ancient had opened its eyes beneath her feet. Then Amara tried to step back. She could not. Her legs would not move towards the shore. "Ngozi," she called, panic rising in her voice. "Help me, I cannot come out." She struggled, but the water held her firmly, not rough, not violent, just unyielding. "Ngozi, my mother is not here." Tears slid down her cheeks and disappeared into the stream. Ngozi's face drained of color. This was not what she understood. She had only been told to make sure Amara entered. She jumped down from the branch and ran, her feet barely touching the ground. By the time the villagers gathered, the sky had begun to darken. Men brought ropes. Women prayed loudly. The strongest swimmers tried to pull her free, but each time they tugged, the water seemed to swallow her deeper, though she did not sink. The Dibia arrived, staff in hand, eyes sharp with wisdom. He stepped to the edge of the stream and raised his voice. "Great goddess of Uka, this child is not a fish. Release her." The forest trembled softly. Shout out to these amazing people, these amazing viewers for leaving a comment on my last video. You can leave a comment for a possible shout out on the next video. Like and comment part 2 in the comment section.